Listen carefully. There is one thing you need to do just once, and your life will never feel the same again. Once you master this, toxic people will not even dare to approach you. They will feel it in your energy before they say a single word. The thing is this, you decide you are no longer available for disrespect. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient, always. The second you set that boundary, you build an invisible wall around yourself. A wall that says, access to me is earned, not given. My energy is expensive. My peace is priceless. You know why toxic people keep coming back? Because you let them. Because you entertain their games, their excuses, their manipulation. But the moment you stand firm and say, no, not with me, not anymore, you cut off their supply, and without your energy, they starve. They may call you cold, they may call you selfish, but let me tell you something. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's self-respect. And the ones who truly deserve to be in your life will never demand you lower your standards just to make them comfortable. So do this once. Raise your standard, walk with your head high. Show the world you will not shrink to fit in with anyone's chaos, and watch how the wrong people fall away effortlessly. Not because you chased them out, not because you fought them, but because your energy, your boundaries, your self-worth became too powerful for them to penetrate. That's the secret. Do this once and toxic people will never bother you again. The moment you decide that disrespect has no place in your life, everything changes. The energy around you shifts, people feel it. You don't even have to say it out loud, your presence speaks it for you. That is what happens when you set a non-negotiable boundary. Most people don't realize how much power they hand over by tolerating the little things. They think it's nothing. They excuse it. They laugh it off. But what you tolerate once, you invite forever. If someone crosses your line and you let it slide, you just taught them how to treat you. And trust me, if they are toxic, they will take full advantage of that weakness.
The truth is, toxic people do not stop on their own. They push and they test and they feed off the fact that you are too scared to draw a line. Every time you let that slide, you send a silent message. My comfort is less important than yours. My respect doesn't matter. My boundaries are negotiable. That is exactly the kind of person they love to exploit.
So, do you want to know what happens the second you make that choice? The choice to be unavailable for disrespect. The second you say to yourself, no, I will not entertain this behavior. I will not explain myself 1,000 times. I will not beg anyone to treat me like I matter. You take back your power. That choice is magnetic. It radiates through your energy, and toxic people can feel it. Boundaries are not about fighting or arguing. Boundaries are about being so solid in who you are, so rooted in your worth that no one can shake you. You don't need to scream. You don't need to prove a point. You don't need to write essays explaining why you deserve respect. You simply embody it. And when someone tries to cross that line, you don't hesitate. You don't debate. You don't wonder if you're being too harsh. You act. You step back, you remove access. That's the kind of strength they can't manipulate. You see, toxic people thrive in the space between your yes and your no. They love when you hesitate, when you waver, when you doubt yourself. They love when you say, okay, just this once, or when you give them one more chance after the 10th chance. That is the crack they slip through. That is where they play their games. And as long as you allow that space, they will never stop. But the moment you shut that door completely, without explanation, without apology, that's when they lose all control. That's when you starve them of what they came for, your attention, your energy, your willingness to be a doormat. They cannot survive in a space where boundaries are firm. So I need you to understand this. Your boundary is not a request. It is a declaration. You do not ask someone to respect you. You command it by how you live, by what you allow, by what you tolerate. If someone disrespects you and you continue to stand there, smile, and accept it, you've shown them that your words mean nothing. But when your actions align with your standards, when you follow through without hesitation, people know immediately that you are not the one to play with. Yes, people may leave when you set that boundary. Let them. In fact, watch them go, because anyone who is only around when you allow them to mistreat you is not a loss. They are a weight. And the second they fall away, you will feel lighter, stronger, freer. Don't cling to what disrespects you. Don't water dead plants. The people who are meant to stay in your life will respect you naturally. You won't have to beg for it. And here is the truth that many avoid. Setting a boundary once can shift your entire life. It only takes one time, one clear no, one decisive action to show the world you are not available for disrespect. That moment rewires you. That moment teaches you what you will no longer accept. After that, it becomes easier and easier because your self-worth grows each time you honor it. You will notice that you stop attracting the same toxic patterns, not because the world has changed, but because your energy has. You carry yourself differently. You walk into a room and people feel that you cannot be pushed around. You become untouchable, not because you fight harder, but because you don't engage at all. You know exactly where you stand and you refuse to move for anyone who doesn't match that level of respect. This is not about being mean. This is not about being cold. This is about self-respect. If you don't respect yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? If you don't honor your own boundaries, why would anyone else feel they should? The world mirrors the standard you set. Raise your standard and watch how the world adjusts. And the beauty of this is you only need to do it once. The first time you draw that line, the first time you enforce it without guilt, you awaken a new version of yourself. You realize you are stronger than you thought. You realize that your peace matters more than someone's opinion of you. You realize that no apology is needed for demanding respect. From that moment on, toxic people will sense that energy. They won't even try because they will know you are not the one. So do not wait. Do not hesitate. Do not tell yourself you'll set a boundary next time. The time is now. Decide once and for all that disrespect does not live here. Choose once and toxic people will never again have the courage to bother you. Your energy is the most valuable thing you own. It's not your money. It's not your status. It's not even your time because your energy fuels all of it. Without it, you have nothing. And yet most people give it away carelessly. They hand it over to people who drain them, to situations that don't deserve them, to chaos that was never theirs to carry. That is why they feel exhausted, uninspired, and stuck. Protecting your energy is not optional. It's survival. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should have a seat at your table. Think about it. Would you leave the doors to your house wide open and let anyone walk in, take what they want, and trash the place? No. You would lock it. You would guard it. You would only invite in those you trust. So why do you treat your energy with less value than your home? Why do you allow anyone, friend, stranger, coworker, even family, to walk in and dump their negativity, their complaints, their toxic habits into your space? You are not a trash can for other people's problems. You are not a battery for other people's emptiness. If someone always leaves you drained, anxious, or small after being around them, that is a sign. Pay attention. That is your body screaming at you. This is not safe for me. This is not aligned for me. This is not where I belong. But what do most people do? They ignore it. They convince themselves it's fine. They tell themselves they're being too sensitive. Let me tell you something. Sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is your radar. It's the gift that tells you when your energy is being robbed. Protecting your energy starts with permission. The permission you give yourself to choose peace over chaos, to walk away instead of explain, to say no without guilt. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't owe everyone your attention. You are allowed to protect your peace like it is sacred, because it is. And here's the truth. When you start protecting your energy, you will lose people. Look, all you distant, selfish, cold. They will accuse you of changing. And you know what? They're right. You are changing. You are changing from the person who tolerated everything into the person who finally knows their worth. You are no longer free entertainment for their drama. You are no longer an endless supply of attention. And people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always be the loudest when you finally set them. Let them complain. Let them call you names. Protecting your energy was never about them. It was always about you. Your energy is like a bank account. Every day you make deposits and withdrawals. Some people are deposits. You leave them feeling recharged, inspired, calm. Some people are withdrawals. If you walk away feeling drained, heavy, unsettled, if you continue to spend all your energy on the wrong people, you will end up bankrupt. But when you guard it, when you invest it wisely, your life starts to overflow. You create space for joy. You create space for clarity. You create space for opportunities that align with who you are becoming. And let me be clear, protecting your energy doesn't always mean cutting people off. Sometimes it does, yes, but often it means changing how much access they have. Not everyone needs full access to you. Some people can only handle the version of you that they see from a distance. Some people can stay in your life, but only in small doses. That's okay. It's not cruelty, it's wisdom. You don't punish them, you simply decide where they belong in your world. That is how you keep your energy safe. When your energy is protected, you move differently. You don't rush to reply to chaos. You don't feel guilty for taking time for yourself. You don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You realize that silence is power. Distance is power. Walking away is power. Protecting your energy is not about building walls. It's about building standards. You no longer bend for everything and everyone. You no longer lower yourself to match someone's chaos. You stay grounded and you let the noise pass by without ever entering your space. Do you know how unstoppable you become when your energy is protected? You glow. People notice it. You walk into a room and they can feel it. Something about you is untouchable. Toxic people sense it and back off. Opportunities that once passed you by now stick to you. Because when your energy is safe, your mind is clear. And when your mind is clear, your decisions are sharp. That is how you step into the life you were meant to live. Not by giving all of yourself away, but by protecting the best parts of you for the things that actually deserve it. So ask yourself right now, who has access to my energy? Who am I allowing to drain me? Where am I carelessly spending my peace? And then decide today, not tomorrow, that your energy is no longer free. Decide that not everyone gets access. Decide that your peace, your focus, your happiness are priceless and that the cost of admission to your life is respect. And once you make that choice, do not waver. Because the second you waver, toxic people will slip back in. They will test you. They will push. But if you hold your ground, if you stay rooted in your words, they will realize quickly you are no longer their playground. You are no longer available for chaos. You are no longer accessible to people who come to drain instead of give. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. The quality of your life, the people you attract, the opportunities that come your way, they all depend on the level of energy you carry. Guard it, honor it, treat it like the rare treasure it is, and watch how everything around you begins to transform. Toxic people survive because you feed them. They thrive on the attention you give them, the explanations you hand out, the arguments you engage in, the chances you keep offering, even after they've shown you exactly who they are. They are not strong without you. They are parasites, and parasites can only survive as long as the host allows it. The reason they keep coming back is simple. You keep giving them access. Every time you answer that message, every time you accept their half apology, every time you argue to prove your point, you're feeding them. You think you're defending yourself, but really you're giving them what they want, your energy. Do you not see how powerful you are? They have no power unless you hand it to them. Understand this. Toxic people crave chaos. They crave reaction. They crave that little piece of you that bends to them. That is their fuel. And when you cut off that fuel supply, when you stop feeding them, they starve. They lose interest. They disappear. Not because you begged them to, not because you fought harder, but because there was nothing left for them to take. You cannot heal someone who thrives in dysfunction. You cannot fix someone who enjoys breaking you. You cannot expect loyalty from someone who only shows up when they need to drain you. So stop giving them second chances. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop pouring love into someone who only gives you emptiness in return. Every time you do that, you're feeding them. And every time you feed them, you teach them that you are available for disrespect. When you stop feeding them, at first they will fight. They will push harder. They will test your silence. They will bait you with guilt, with anger, with fake affection. They will try everything to pull you back into the cycle. Why? Because they are desperate. Because without your energy, they cannot function the way they used to. Don't fall for it. Don't take the bait. Hold your ground. That discomfort you feel when you ignore them, that's not weakness. That's withdrawal. We're detoxing from the habit of giving away your power. Stay strong through it. Silence is your weapon. Distance is your weapon. Detachment is your weapon. You don't need to yell. You don't need to block and unblock. You don't need to announce your boundary. You simply stop participating. You stop explaining. You stop giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. You stop playing their game altogether. And when you do that, the game ends because you were the only one keeping it alive. Think about it. Why do you think toxic people always circle back? It's not because they've changed. It's not because they suddenly see your worth. It's because they believe they can still feed off you. They believe you'll still answer. They believe you'll still let them in. That's the cycle. But when they come back and find nothing, no answer, no reaction, no access, they move on. They cannot survive in a space where they are starved of attention. You have to stop confusing drama with connection. You have to stop thinking chaos is love. Some of you are addicted to the back and forth because it feels like passion. But passion does not leave you drained. Passion does not leave you doubting yourself. That is not passion. That is poison. And the sooner you stop feeding into it, the sooner you will realize how peaceful love, friendship, and connection are supposed to feel. When you cut off a toxic person, you will notice something beautiful happen. Your energy begins to return to you. The heaviness lifts. You start to breathe easier. Suddenly, the things you once obsessed over, what they meant by that, why they said that, how to make them change, become irrelevant. You stop caring because you've starved the addiction, and the peace that follows is addictive in the best way. You will never want to go back once you feel it. Some of you are scared of what will happen if you stop feeding them. You think they'll hate you. You think they'll talk about you. You think they'll move on to someone else. Good. Let them. Let them find someone else to drain. Let them hate you. Let them talk. Because none of it matters if they no longer have access to your energy. That is the ultimate win. Not revenge, not proving them wrong, not making them see your value, but being so unavailable, so detached that their opinion no longer touches you. You reclaim your power the day you stop feeding what drains you. And the beauty of it is you only need to do it once. One clear decision to walk away, one clear refusal to entertain the cycle, one moment of silence instead of reaction, and the whole pattern begins to crumble. You starve the toxicity at its root. So make the choice. Stop feeding what is killing you. Stop giving life to things that deserve to die. Your energy is sacred. Stop pouring it into people who only come to take. Let them go hungry. Let them starve, and watch how powerful you become when your energy belongs to you again. Respect yourself so deeply that you never again trade your dignity for someone's approval. That is the shift. That is the key. Because the moment you prioritize approval over self-respect, you hand away your power. You let the world decide your worth. You bend yourself into shapes you were never meant to fit. Just to be liked, just to be accepted, just to feel safe. And all the while, you shrink. Think about how much of your life you've wasted chasing approval. The times you said yes when your whole body wanted to say no. The times you stayed silent when you should have spoken just so they wouldn't be upset. The times you laughed at jokes that weren't funny, tolerated behavior that hurt you because you were scared of losing someone's validation. That is not love. That is not respect. That is self-abandonment disguised as kindness. Approval is a trap. It's an endless chase because no matter what you do, someone will always disapprove. You wear the outfit you love. Someone calls it ugly. You speak your truth. Someone says you're too loud. You set a boundary. Someone calls you selfish. If you live your life begging for approval, you will never win because the world will always find something wrong with you. So why waste your energy trying to please people who will never be satisfied? Self-respect is the opposite. Self-respect says, I don't care if you approve. I don't care if you clap for me. I don't care if you understand me. I care that I respect myself when I look in the mirror. That is the kind of power that makes you untouchable. Because approval can be taken away at any moment, but self-respect stays with you forever. The truth is, the people who genuinely love you don't demand that you sacrifice your self-respect for their comfort. They don't punish you for standing in your truth. They don't need you to become smaller so they can feel bigger. Only toxic, insecure people do that. And if keeping their approval means betraying yourself, then you should lose them gladly. Because anyone who requires your self-disrespect in order to stay doesn't belong in your life. When you choose self-respect over approval, something incredible happens. You stop begging. You stop chasing. You stop auditioning for roles in other people's lives. You realize you are the prize and you start living like it. You speak without apology. You set boundaries without guilt. You walk away without hesitation. And suddenly you see that the people who truly align with you, the ones who see your worth, are not repelled by your self-respect. They're drawn to it. They admire it because respect commands respect. And yes, people will leave when you start respecting yourself. Good, let them, because the ones who leave are the ones who only stayed as long as you disrespected yourself for them. They stayed because you lowered your standards, because you bent your boundaries, because you made them comfortable while suffocating yourself. But once you stop doing that, they're gone. And that is not a loss, that is liberation. Stop fearing rejection. Stop fearing what people will think. Rejection is not the end, it's protection. Every no you say to someone else is a yes to yourself. Every door that closes because you refuse to lower your self-respect is a door that opens to something better, something aligned, something worthy of you. But you cannot walk into what you deserve if you keep kneeling for what disrespects you. Ask yourself, why do you want their approval so badly? What will it give you that you cannot give yourself? Approval feels good in the moment, but it fades. Respect for yourself, that stays. That builds confidence, that builds strength, that builds a foundation so unshakable that no rejection, no insult, no disapproval can tear you down. You must understand, approval is external, but self-respect is internal. Approval depends on them, but self-respect depends only on you. Approval is unstable, conditional, fleeting. Self-respect is solid, permanent, untouchable. Which one do you think will actually build the life you want? The most powerful people you admire are not powerful because everyone approves of them. They are powerful because they chose themselves. They spoke when others stayed silent. They walked away when others clung to comfort. They set standards that made people uncomfortable, and they did not lower them for anyone. And that's why they stand out. That's why they're respected, even by the ones who never approved. Respecting yourself doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It doesn't mean you won't feel the sting of rejection. It means you choose yourself anyway. You choose yourself even when it's uncomfortable. You choose yourself even when people don't understand. You choose yourself even when it's uncomfortable. You choose yourself even when people don't understand. And the beautiful thing is, once you fully embrace self-respect, you'll never crave approval again. It will feel beneath you. You'll realize how small it is compared to the peace of honoring yourself. You'll see that being respected by yourself is worth more than being liked by 1,000 people. You'll understand that your power doesn't come from being agreeable, it comes from being authentic. So let them disapprove, let them misunderstand, let them gossip, let them leave. Because while they waste their time trying to control your choices, you will be busy building a life rooted in self-respect. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more powerful than that. Your life will always rise or fall to the level of your standards. If you tolerate less, you will always receive less. If you accept crumbs, you will never see the feast. If you keep lowering your expectations just to keep people around, you will always be surrounded by those who benefit from your weakness. The truth is simple. The second you raise your standards, everything around you changes. Do you know why toxic people linger in your life? Because your standards let them. You keep making excuses. You say, at least they care sometimes. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. You convince yourself that bare minimum is still something. No, it's nothing. It's disrespect, just as effort. And as long as you keep lowering your standards, you're teaching them that you will stay, no matter how little they give. But the moment you raise that bar, the moment you say, this is what I require, And if you cannot give it, you do not get access to me. Watch how quickly people reveal who they really are. Some will rise to meet you, others will fall away, and both outcomes are blessings. You see, people are always watching how you treat yourself. They notice what you tolerate. If you demand nothing, you'll receive nothing. If you demand respect, respect will come. If you demand loyalty, only the loyal will remain. Your standards are not just rules for others. They are signals to the world about how to approach you. And yes, raising your standards will feel uncomfortable at first. Because for so long, you've been conditioned to settle. You've been told you're too much for wanting respect, honesty, consistency. You've been told your standards are unrealistic. No, they are not unrealistic. They are simply higher than what the people around you are willing to give. And instead of questioning yourself, you need to question why you're surrounded by people who cannot meet the basics. When you raise your standards, you force people to make a choice, rise or leave. And the ones who leave, let them. Why would you want someone in your life who cannot even meet the bare minimum of treating you with dignity? Their exit is not rejection, it's direction. It's life clearing the path so that better can enter. But if you keep lowering your bar to keep them, you block the blessings that were waiting for you on the other side. Raising your standards is not about being arrogant. It's about knowing your value. It's about refusing to shrink to make others comfortable. It's about finally saying, I deserve more and I will not apologize for it. Because the truth is, you attract what you believe you deserve. If you believe you deserve inconsistency, that's all you'll get. If you believe you deserve half effort, that's all people will give. But when you finally believe you are worthy of more, you will stop entertaining anything less. And here's the secret. When you raise your standards, it's not just about relationships. It's about everything. The way you treat your body, the way you handle your finances, the way you use your time. If you accept laziness from yourself, if you accept disrespect in your friendships, if you accept mediocrity in your work, you're building a life of low standards. But the moment you demand more from yourself, the moment you start saying, I will not live small, I will not accept average, I will not settle, that's when everything begins to shift. Look around your life right now. Every corner of it reflects your standards, your relationships, your career, your environment, even your mindset. If something feels off, it's not because the world is against you. It's because your standards have been too low for too long. And the good news, you can change that in an instant. You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You simply decide, I am raising the bar. And once you do, you must hold it. That's when most people fail. They raise their standards for a moment. And when people push back, when things get uncomfortable, they lower them again. No, you cannot bend. You cannot waver. Your standard is your law. And the more consistently you hold it, the faster the wrong people will fall away and the faster the right people and opportunities will align with you. Understand this. Your standards are not about others. They are about you. They are the mirror of your self-worth. If you truly respect yourself, if you truly value your peace, if you truly know what you deserve, you will never allow yourself to settle for anything less. That is why raising your standards is the ultimate act of self-love. And once you do it, once you make that shift, you look back at the times you begged for the bare minimum and wonder why you ever accepted so little. You laugh at the version of yourself that thought crumbs were a meal. Because once you taste what it feels like to live at a higher standard, real respect, real peace, real love, you will never go back. To raise the bar, raise it so high that only those who are truly worthy can reach it. Raise it so high that you look at your life and feel proud every single day. Raise it so high that toxic people don't even attempt to approach you. They know they'll never meet it. And don't apologize for it. Because the truth is, the moment you raise your standards, the world will rise to meet you.